How you keep this shit on me? Morales! Morales! Hey, Morales! Hey, drag him out! Drag him out! Drag him out! Drag him out! Hey, first Norcans applied already! Hey, the gun's still in there! Morales! Leave that door open so it airs out. Because I don't know what else is in there.
You're watching The Crime Vault, where we unlock real cases, real motives, and real consequences without the rumors or the clickbait. Everything in this video is based on public information, police reports, media coverage, and allegations. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We send our condolences and respect to the victims and their families, because for them, this isn't content, it's real life. If you're watching right now, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe so we can keep opening these files.
Family. The holidays are supposed to bring peace, joy, and time with the people you love the most. But for a lot of folks, this season is when life hits the hardest. Pressure builds, bad decisions catch up, and the stuff you've been trying to outrun all year finally finds you. Today's story is one of those cases. Imagine this. You're a sheriff's deputy. You're the one people call when things go bad. You make a traffic stop. You confiscate drugs. You do the report like you've done 100 times before. But instead of turning that evidence in, you walk into your own sheriff's station bathroom, in uniform, on duty, and you smoke it. Minutes later, your coworkers find you collapsed on the floor, unconscious, barely breathing. They're not saving a suspect. They're not saving a stranger. They're trying to save one of their own. That overdose turns into viral body cam footage. The internet eats it up. Your career is gone. Your reputation is shattered. Your name becomes a punchline. Fast forward to December 2nd, 2025. That same former deputy is now suspected of stabbing his own 11-year-old son to death inside their home in Elk Grove, California, while the child's mother watches in horror on a home security camera. And just hours later, he's shot and killed after a high-speed chase on Interstate 5. This is a tragedy that hits every level. A child, a family, a community, and a department that once called this man brother.
On October 24th, 2023, Sacramento County Sheriff's Deputy Marvin Morales, 40 years old, is on duty. He comes across a familiar face, a man he's seen before in the same area, dealing with addiction, homelessness, and drugs. Body cam shows them talking like they've met before, laughing a little, joking about dancing in the streets, sunglasses, and staying out of trouble. On the surface, it feels like a routine contact, a deputy who knows his beat and the people in it. But then comes the pat-down. Morales spots foil sticking out of his pocket. Anyone who's been around drug use knows what that usually means. Fentanyl, meth, or some other substance smoked off foil. The man tries to play dumb at first, then admits it. Morales collects what he believes is meth wrapped in foil as evidence. The suspect isn't hauled off to prison. He gets cited and released. On paper, it's a normal stop. But this is the moment where something changes. Because that foil, that so-called evidence, does not end up where it's supposed to go. And that decision is going to destroy everything that comes next.
Later that same day, Morales walks into a bathroom inside the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. Security cameras catch him moving in a way that already looks off. Strange posture, off balance, something not right. What the public would learn much later is this. Instead of booking the substance into evidence, Morales smoked it in the bathroom using a glass pipe he'd kept around. A few minutes go by, and then things go silent. Another deputy walks in, expecting just another empty restroom or a coworker washing his hands. Instead, he finds Morales collapsed, feet twisted behind him, body slumped, barely breathing. The radio calls go out. Panic hits. This isn't a suspect. This is a fellow deputy overdosing inside the building.
Morales! Wake up, bro! Morales! Yeah, where my car's at? First Norcan apply, he's coming too. Leave that door open! Morales! You good?
My radio's dead.
Huh?
My radio's dead. It's best.
Get his vest off. Straighten his leg. Straighten his leg.
Yep.
They administer Narcan once. No real response. They give another dose. Slowly, he starts to come back. The same uniform he put on that morning to protect people is now the same uniform he almost died in on the bathroom floor. And if that was the end, it would already be bad enough. But we're just getting started.
After the overdose, Internal Affairs digs in. They discover Morales used a glass pipe taken from a suspect months earlier. He lied about disposing of it. He admitted smoking residue at home 3 to 4 times. The department concludes he committed dishonesty, one of the most damaging labels a cop can get. On January 4, 2024, a recommendation comes down to fire him. Instead of dragging out the process, they allow him to resign. By February 2024, he's gone from the department, decertified, and barred from being a peace officer again. But, in the age of the internet, it doesn't end when you walk out the door. In March 2025, that body cam footage of his overdose hits YouTube and social media. It racks up millions of views. He becomes a meme, a warning story, a symbol of cop caught using the dope he took. His overdose is no longer just a line in an internal report. It's content, it's commentary, it's viral. And here's the piece nobody talks about enough. When your lowest moment becomes everyone's entertainment, it doesn't just ruin your career, it can shatter your mind. Behind the scenes, something is unraveling. And the people closest to him, his family, his kids, are the ones who are going to pay the highest price.
This is breaking news from CBS 13.
All right, right now we're finding the latest on a father who allegedly stabbed and killed his 11-year-old son. This is a press conference on the very latest. Let's listen in.
Homicide agencies located the suspect vehicle and the suspect on I-5 and Pocket Road. A pursuit ensued from there. We're ended here on I-5 and Highway 12, which resulted in an officer-involved shooting. CHP will be handling the officer-involved shooting investigation.
Do we know how many times this young boy was stabbed?
We do not know that information at this time.
Do we know what led the mother to believe that something was wrong in that home?
So there are cameras inside the residence, and the mother had seen that an assault had happened between the father and the son, and she called police immediately for us to respond.
Had you responded to that house in the past for any incidents prior to this?
We had only responded to that residence once before, and it was this past October for a medical call.
And what goes through your mind learning that this was a former deputy, someone that was in law enforcement, that is accused of this crime of taking his son's life?
We won't be commenting on anything regarding this being a former deputy. We'll leave that to Sacramento County.
Anything that you want to say about this investigation in that home?
It's just absolutely awful, and we never want to see any children getting hurt.
Where is that young person now, the 6-year-old, who was able to be unharmed?
The 6-year-old is safe right now. She was unharmed.
Do we know
to the number of agencies that are here?
I do not know the number of agencies that are here right now.
And you said the pursuit was stopped right in this area. I guess, can you walk us through, what it means for a pursuit to be stopped? What happened for you guys to stop the vehicle here, and what happened after that?
For the pursuit, because it was an outside agency that did take over the pursuit, then we're going to let CHP do the conversation for that. Any other questions?
How expansive is the scene? Like, what do we see here in front of us and behind us?
Again, because the pursuit was not our scene, then we're going to leave that to CHP to comment on.
Can you say if a weapon was found in the car or anything like that?
We didn't find any, we can't talk about what was found in the vehicle at the residence. We did find an empty gun safe, but we didn't find any guns at the residence.
And what do we know about the condition of that former deputy who was shot?
We don't have an update at this time for his condition.
Is he still alive?
We don't have an update for his condition at this time.
We'll bring in Amar Gandhi now with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. And Amar, after learning that this was one of your former deputies, what can you tell us about this tragedy?
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate, first of all, for that 11-year-old and their family. That's our primary thoughts right now. I can confirm he is a former deputy who was terminated in February of last year from our agency, so he was not active, did not have any peace officer powers or any other affiliation with that. I can tell you Sheriff Cooper was one of the first, actually, on his way to work, spotted the suspect vehicle. Other agencies obviously came in, and I heard the other question asked. I mean, there's roughly a dozen agencies here, so it really kind of speaks volumes to the support this region has as far as law enforcement partners go. As far as the officer-involved shooting portion of it, like we mentioned, it'll be a concurrent investigation between actually several agencies. The Highway Patrol obviously is primary on it. We'll have investigators assigned to it to run it concurrent as well, and I believe some other agencies will. I believe also San Joaquin County DA's office is here.
Do we know how many shots were fired? We know that that former deputy was hit.
I don't. Again, a lot of that's going to stem on the CHP side of it. They're going to be the primary for the actual officer-involved shooting portion of it.
Could you speak as to why that former deputy was terminated from the agency?
It's been well published. He was caught using illicit drugs, and then there's some other issues. But I mean, you can find all that. That's readily available. So.
Do we know if the mother lived at that house? Was she away at work, or what was the situation during the assault? Where was the mother?
I don't know. Again, that's more on the Elk Grove side of it. Our involvement on this is kind of limited in terms of that scope. We were involved, obviously, with his previous employment, and then obviously our concerns were raised. We heard he was possibly armed. We know his history, and then from there, obviously, our involvement here with the pursuit and capture.
But he never faced criminal charges for this, right? He was fired.
He was fired from our agency back in February, correct? From an incident back in September of 23.
What was his character like, or for those who knew him prior to this happening?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know him. So he was assigned to a patrol division at the time.
He was a supervisor?
No. He was just a patrol deputy.
Just to hear that a former deputy was involved in something like this.
I mean, it's gross, right? It's nobody wants to hear about anyone involved in an incident, previous like that, especially a deputy, and then to have something like this stem from it. It's, like I said, our primary thoughts are with that family right now. It's kind of an ancillary piece, so that's kind of where our attention is focused, just more on that.
And Amar, are you able to talk about, I guess, the pursuit on your guys' end, what that looked like before ending up right here?
Fairly limited, just in the sense of he was spotted on the freeway on I-5. Like I said, Sheriff Cooper was actually there physically himself, was the first one from our agency that was there. Other units got involved. I can confirm we had 2 deputies from our agency that actually fired that were part of the OIS. I can't comment on any other agencies that were involved beyond that.
How did Sheriff Cooper know what kind of car he was in?
This is again a testament to the partnership of law enforcement in this region and how quick information gets shared. Really big testament to Elk Grove PD and their investigative prowess. They got that information out quickly to not just us but to every agency around. They found not only the vehicle image but got that information as far as a potential direction of travel. We're able to get that out to us, and obviously, it worked.
Do we know if the mom and dad lived together? Were they separated, divorced?
I don't have that.
Mar, is there any sense of, when the stop unfolded right here, what played out for the deputies that were part of the sheriff's office to draw the weapon?
I'll let CHP handle that more of that side of it, but obviously, we did have a lot of information on his history. We did hear that he was armed, so this was taken with full caution. This was a big red handle.
Other challenges for CHP in investigating this, to the extent that this is going to take a while?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, that I can confidently say, just from any layman perspective, right? You look at this crime scene tape behind you, it's expansive. There's obviously the suspect vehicle behind us, obviously a big impact on the freeway, but CHP is more than capable, but we'll have investigators assigned to it as well.
Tell us more about that stop, though. Did he try to fight back in any way?
Like I said, all of that right now. See, there's a lot to unfold, and this is going to take hours upon hours. So if we'll be here well past dark.
When did you first learn that it was a former deputy that was a suspect in this case?
This morning, again, just after. Again, a big shout out to Elk Grove PD. They were not only there, but information that was shared to law enforcement partners quickly allowed that information to get to us, so we found out pretty quick when that happened, and then allowed for the capture. So, and actually, I believe Highway Patrol is here and able to comment, so I'll bring unless you guys have any more for me, I'll let them kind of maybe take the reins.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Can you state your name, please?
Yes. Chief Tyler Eccles. Last name is spelled E-C-C-L-E-S. First Tyler, T-Y-L-E-R.
What can you tell us about this tragedy unfolding in the community today?
Yeah, I can only speak to what occurred after the tragic incident from this morning. That the suspect was identified traveling southbound on I-5. There was a group of officers that located him. Subsequently, CHP personnel deployed a spike strip as a result of that pursuit. The suspect, shortly thereafter, was involved in a solo vehicle collision, which came to rest behind us here that you've seen earlier, and subsequently an officer-involved shooting occurred. And that's the degree of information that I can share at this time.
Do we know if that former deputy tried to fire back or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't have any of those details as of yet. That's all going to work itself out through our investigation.
And how long was that chase that they were involved in?
I don't have the exact distance or duration of time.
You might be able to say whether or not he was in or outside of the vehicle when shots were fired?
I don't have that degree of information at this time either.
And this is a tragedy in our community. What goes through your mind when you learn that this was someone in law enforcement that you were now having to pursue and then getting into an officer-involved shooting?
Yeah, it certainly is a very tragic event. The allegations that have come forward, and we mourn with the community who is mourning at this time as well.
Where do we go from here as far as this investigation is concerned and the roadway for motorists?
Yeah, so our goal is to make sure that we, along with our partners, conduct a very robust investigation, but we also know that we're affecting traffic, and so one of our priorities is to open as many lanes as possible as soon as we possibly can. But in this type of incident where we have an officer-involved shooting, it just takes a little bit of time.
And where exactly is that car?
The vehicle,
from our vantage point.
The vehicle's a couple hundred yards behind me.
Do we know what kind of make or model that was?
I don't know specifically. It's an SUV, but I don't know the make and model.
Do we know what was found inside of that vehicle?
No, not yet.
And is that vehicle, is it on I-5 or is it here on this frontage?
It's on the frontage road, in between the freeway and the frontage road.
And considering that this happened, when obviously there's drivers passing by, obviously a fortunate situation that no one else was hurt.
Yes, it's very fortunate that no one else suffered any injury or even death after the tragic incident from this morning.
How do you go forward and work together with all of the agencies that are here today?
Yeah, there was a multitude of agencies that were involved, and we pre-planned for this. We have specific processes and protocols that we adopt and put in play when there are multiple agencies that are involved, and we've begun well into that process of making sure that those agencies that need to be involved are participating in this investigation.
We know we saw Stockton here and some other agencies. Are they going to be released from the scene now, or are they going to stay here throughout the day investigating?
Yeah, so we have a core group of individuals that will be here investigating, and as you've seen, a plethora of law enforcement officials on the freeway. We're actually in the process now of clearing most of the personnel from off the freeway itself, so we can begin the process of diagramming and investigating the incident that occurred.
What kind of evidence do you expect to find out here?
You know, every incident's different, every incident's unique, and so we don't presuppose what evidence we'll find.
Anything else that you want to say about this investigation?
No, I appreciate the time and attention given to this, of the tragedy that occurred this morning, but we commit on behalf of the California Highway Patrol with our partners to conduct the investigation that needs to be done.
And have you heard personally, the condition of the suspect?
I have not.
When do we expect to learn more on whether he survived?
I can probably get you an update here shortly.
To your knowledge, did that vehicle drive off the right side of I-5, ultimately arresting where it is right now?
So obviously we're going to make that determination as part of the investigation, but we believe that is what occurred at this time.
Any idea how long you expect to be out here?
It's going to be a couple of hours.
I suppose any officers that were involved are probably no longer here. They're getting debriefed or whatever it would be.
A vast majority of the personnel that were here on scene, both those involved in the incident and those that responded, have been cleared from the freeway.
Can you clarify if they were with the CHP or the Sheriff's Department?
I don't have exact clarification yet on the total number and specific individuals involved, but we'll have that we'll have that soon.
And could this have all unfolded and been caught on their dash cams?
It's possible. I don't have the answer to that right now.
Your last message to the community regarding this incident
is that we mourn with the tragedy of what was alleged this morning, and on behalf of the California Highway Patrol to the community, we are conducting a thorough investigation.
And I'm sorry if I missed this, but was he armed with a gun or something? Do we know that at this point?
That's all going to be part of the investigation that we're just beginning the process of. Thank you all.
All right, so that was the latest press conference, getting us up to date on the latest of father, a former Sacramento sheriff's deputy accused of stabbing and killing his son. Multiple scenes involved in this, a lot of information coming in right now. We do want to go to Connor McGill. He's at that scene. Just listen to the press conference. Connor, can you kind of bring us up to speed on what we know now?
Yeah, well, hey there, Dominic. As mentioned, the scene here is just so expansive. If I just look over here, I'd imagine it's at least probably a half-mile scene. It was mentioned that there's dozens of agencies here. I've seen CHP, Stockton PD, Elk Grove PD, Sac Sheriff, and as mentioned, the Sac Joaquin DA office assisting in all of this. Now, as they mentioned, this was a pursuit from the Elk Grove area down here near Lodi and Stockton. We've seen a handful of tools being brought out by authorities, everything from just cameras to take pictures of the scene to 3D laser scanners and even drones in the air, or just getting an idea. Now, we did see a moment ago some officers grabbing some bags out of their car, meaning that they could be gathering evidence here at the scene. And now you're looking currently at I-5 southbound. Again, this is where this pursuit ended, and I want to take your attention to where this vehicle ended up, this SUV. The roof of the car absolutely shattered out. It looks like it did sustain some pretty big damage here, and just looking at the vehicles, it seems that the sheriff's office did not go down to that ditch area. They stayed up on the highway. Something worth noting there, as mentioned, it was mentioned that a spike strip was deployed by CHP, and a several vehicle collision was caused by the suspect, ending it out right here. Again, we're monitoring this closely. They mentioned it's going to take hours on hours, meaning if you're traveling through this area right now, you want to take an alternate route. The I-5 southbound down to one lane at this point in time. The I-5 northbound, all lanes are open, and traffic is starting to pick up a bit here, but still quite the scene, and we're going to continue to monitor things out here closely for everyone as we continue to learn information. Dominic.
Connor, stay with us just one sec. I do want to ask you a question, but for anyone who's just joining us, here's kind of a quick update of what exactly happened here. That is a father, a former Sacramento sheriff's deputy, accused of stabbing and killing his 11-year-old son. That was in Elk Grove. That sparked a chase that ended down in San Joaquin County, where Connor is right now. Connor, going to the press conference, it seems like we don't know too much about what exactly happened once, deputies got on scene, confronted this father. Do we know if he was armed? Do we know his condition right now? What's the latest on that suspect?
Yeah, well, that's a question everyone wants to know. I know when we arrived on scene, we were told that suspect was transported to the hospital. They couldn't tell us his condition, but he was, taken from the vehicle and to the hospital. So that is worth noting. In this situation, we do learn that, Elk Grove PD did respond to a call from that mother concerned about her two kids who were with their father at the time. And when they got there, they discovered that 11-year-old clearly injured and hurt, and that 6-year-old, as they mentioned, unharmed in this case. And when they arrived, they didn't see that father at all, leading them to, start to wonder, where is he? And that's when they started this pursuit.
All right.
Reports from Elk Grove police suggest this wasn't completely out of nowhere. A couple of weeks before the fatal stabbing, officers confirmed they were called to Morales' home for a medical aid situation related to him. They never fully released what happened. Whatever it was serious enough to involve law enforcement. Addiction, mental health, humiliation, losing his badge, his identity, his stability. All of that mixes into something volatile. And in that house lives an 11-year-old boy, later identified as Mar Aris Untalan Morales, his son, a 6-year-old daughter, a mother trying to hold things together. You never really know what's happening behind closed doors. But on December 2nd, 2025, those doors get blown wide open in the worst way possible.
It's a regular weekday morning in Elk Grove, California. Around 8 a.m., Morales is home with his two children. Their mother is at work. Like a lot of parents, she's got cameras in the house. Not because she expects horror, but for safety, peace of mind, checking in. On this day, for reasons we may never fully understand, she opens that live feed. And what she sees is something she will never unsee. Elk Grove police later say she watched her 40-year-old ex-husband assaulting their 11-year-old son on camera. She calls 911 immediately, terrified for her children. Officers rush to the home on the 7600 block of Farrell Way. When they arrive, they find the 11-year-old boy suffering from multiple stab wounds. The 6-year-old sister, physically unharmed, but caught in the middle of chaos. An empty gun safe, a serious red flag that a firearm might be involved. They perform life-saving measures. The boy is transported to the hospital. He doesn't make it. The Sacramento County coroner later identifies him as Mar Aris Untalan Morales, 11 years old, a student in the Elk Grove Unified School District. Neighbors say they heard the young sister screaming. Some realize later that their own kids probably went to school with these children. A mother watched her son die in real time through a screen, completely unable to reach him. Family, this is where I want to hear from you guys. When you hear this, a father, a former officer, a history of drugs and red flags, what do you think failed first? Was it the department, mental health support, addiction treatment, a broken system? Or was this pure individual choice and evil? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them, and your comments help push stories like this into the algorithm so more people see what's really happening out here. While officers are trying to save the boy, Morales is already gone. He's left the home before police arrive. Law enforcement sends out a BLO, be on the lookout, with his vehicle description. Agencies across the region are notified. Shortly after, Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper himself spots the suspect vehicle on I-5 near Pocket Road. Multiple agencies join in as they attempt to stop. Morales refuses to pull over. A chase begins, speeds reportedly reaching over 100 miles per hour, moving southbound on I-5, out of Sacramento County and into San Joaquin County, near Lodi. The California Highway Police set up spike strips near Highway 12. He hits them, loses control, and crashes into a ditch field area near the highway. Officers surround the SUV. At some point during this confrontation, multiple officers fire their weapons. At least 2 Sacramento County deputies. At least 1 Elk Grove officer. Other agencies may have fired as well. What we don't know for sure, and authorities have publicly said this, they don't yet know if Morales fired at officers. They don't even fully know whether he was in or out of the vehicle when he was hit. Morales is shot, taken to a hospital, and later pronounced dead. The same law enforcement world that once gave him a badge is the one that ultimately ends his life. In the days that follow, the community tries to make sense of the senseless. The Elk Grove Unified School District confirms that Mar was one of their students and announces grief counselors and support for traumatized classmates and staff. The mayor of Elk Grove calls it a horrific and senseless tragedy, saying, "I am heartbroken to learn that this little boy was killed by his own father." Neighbors admit, some had no idea about Morales' overdose and firing until they saw it on the news. Others had already watched the body cam video months earlier, but never confronted him. They say, how do you even bring that up to someone? The California Highway Police and the California Department of Justice step in to investigate the shooting, while internal reviews look at how Morales' employment history, drug use, and prior incidents were handled. But for the people who lived next door, for the kids who shared a classroom with Mar, and for the mother who watched her son's final moments on a screen, none of these investigations undo what happened. This is one of those cases that hits hard because it's layered. Addiction, fentanyl and meth destroying lives, including those of people in uniform. Abuse of power, using confiscated drugs instead of processing them. System failures, a deputy allowed to resign instead of serious long-term intervention. And family trauma, children trapped in the middle of an adult's collapse. And at the center of it all is an 11-year-old boy who didn't ask for any of this, didn't choose any of this, and didn't deserve what happened to him. Family, I want to make this clear. We can talk about addiction, mental health, humiliation, internet ridicule, departmental decisions, all that can be true. But nothing justifies what happened to that child. Nothing. Before we close this file, I want you to weigh in one more time. Do you think this tragedy was preventable? Should departments be held more accountable for officers who clearly show signs of addiction and instability? Or is this fully on Morales, his choices, his actions, his consequences? Let me know in the comments. Your voice matters here, and the algorithm listens. Rest in peace to Mar Aris Untalan Morales, 11 years old. Condolences to his mother, his little sister, his classmates, and everyone who has to live with this loss.
Addiction doesn't care if you wear a uniform. Pain doesn't skip a paycheck. But when adults break, children should never be the ones to pay the price. This has been the Crime Vault. The story of a man who once carried a badge, was found overdosed in his own department bathroom, lost everything, and ultimately ended the life of his own son before dying at the hands of the same system he disgraced. If you made it this far, family, hit like so this story doesn't disappear. Subscribe to the Crime Vault for more real cases told with respect and detail. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next file we open. Drop a "Rest in Peace Mar" in the comments so the family and community know people are paying attention. This is the Crime Vault. Until next time, good night.